Don't worry if you're behind on the breakthrough and somebody on a community call shared that they'd had angels singing to them from the sky, and all that kind of stuff, right? Don't worry, your turn is coming. And most likely, the breakthrough that will serve you the most is not the lightning bolt breakthrough. It is the accumulation of mini levels of ahas that culminate into progressive transformation over time by the end of the 6 months. That's really what you're looking for. If you pop too early, right, then yeah, it's the course is not designed for that. If you have some serious things you're letting go of, allow the growth to handle itself as you move forward. Right. But a lot of people equate transformation with immediately letting go of old patterns and habits. It's a process, which you may have heard me say something about trusting. Okay, but let's get back to module 5. Module 5 is about mastering relationships. And as I open that module, you'll hear me say that everything is a relationship. And so if you master the key relationships, the one that really have what I call the cascading effects, you're going to be 99% ahead of most people. That if you screw up one of these 4 relationships, there is infinitely more pain associated to it than screwing up some of the other relationships you have, right? Yeah, your relationship to food has consequences. But if you conquer your relationship to yourself, most likely your relationship to food, if it's dysfunctional, will change as well. You follow? We're treating more of the shoulder level relationships than the knee level relationships with this module. All right? Everybody relate to that. Right?
Yeah.
Cool. So let's start with the first relationship, obviously relationship with ourself. If we get that suboptimal, everything else is projected. Why? Because as I've said before, right? You experience life. That's what you do. You don't engage with life. You don't live your life, right? They're all terms given as a fallout of the primary level, which is you experience life. Because everything that you ultimately do is experience. And I'll go so far as to quote the great Hawkins, the only thing you can actually experience is the act of experiencing. Play with that one. So if you spend your entire life experiencing, most people experience from inside their head, if you want to try to localize that in a third dimensional virtual reality. And I say that because if your relationship with yourself isn't as good as it can be, or is dysfunctional, you're going to spend your life living inside a place that isn't a nice place to live. Another way of saying that is if you do spend your life living in your head, why wouldn't you want to make it a nice place to live? Interesting question. You wouldn't want to make it a nice place to live if you're already addicted to the secondary gain of what victim or achiever mode gives you. Yeah, I was in achiever mode for a long time. Why? Because I defined my sense of significance, my ego, my validation by the fact that I could work more hours than somebody else, that I could pull it out of the bag against the odds. Some of you may still be running that achiever level pattern. Some people define their sense of self-worth through their victim story. Or some people excuse themselves from having to grow by making excuses as to why they shouldn't lift the weights. Right? And victim story gives you a great opportunity to demonstrate why it's not your fault. The gym was built for other people. I don't get access to the gym. I can't afford the gym. And if I stay a victim to it, I don't have to figure out a way to go into life and actually grow. So relationship with yourself is primary. Relationship with time. How many people had some aha moments going through the relationship to time module? We've been conditioned by commoditizing time into thinking it's a thing that we can apply the same logic that we apply to other things. But you can't. As I said, you can't go to Walmart and buy 4 hours on special offer for 30 minutes. Doesn't work that way. So if you're commoditizing time by reducing it to quantized units that you think you can then use as the same level as bricks to build a house with, and you've only got so many bricks, and therefore I've got to get more out of these bricks, you're making time into something you think you can manage. I was speaking with a private client this morning. Tuesday is my private coaching day. We're talking about, again, on a subject of money and making a decision from chasing the more, because there was a different property that they were looking to purchase, versus being grateful for what they already had, because it wasn't really their truth. And then they're trying to justify different levels of investment. And I'm like, the mind will always justify, but if you try to make the numbers work from the perspective of trying to close gaps because you want it, because it feeds a need, not a truth, you're reducing money, like time, to something that you think you need to manage rather than something that the universe will always provide when you need it. You're bringing money from an intangible, unlimited energy base to a finite physical bank statement that you want to try to accumulate. Different relationship. Anyway, I hope I didn't offend too many people with taking on the relationship to a higher power. And if I did, then that's a wonderful opportunity to look at your own triggers. So I make no apologies for that, with love. If you then listen to the Straight Talk 9, probably for more than the first time, I wanted you to listen to it from the perspective of now coming through module 1, where other things have shifted. So you're never stepping into that same river twice. So if you can have a better, not a perfect, there is no perfect. Remember, perfectionism is usually I'm scared of screwing upism, right? So if you are looking for a perfect relationship with yourself, it's ongoing. Did you notice that evolution is a thing? Yeah, things continue to evolve, which means that if life isn't done yet, if life is still evolving, if our outer world in this third dimensional reality is still evolving, what makes you think we're smarter and that we're already done? So there is no perfect. We're consistently evolving. Your relationship with yourself will continue to evolve. Your relationship with time, especially if it's been dysfunctional for decades, will continue to evolve. Give yourself some slack. If you think you're screwing up because you went through the module and then you find yourself stressed about time a week from now when everything's on your calendar, oh my God, I failed module 5. That's not the game we're playing.